pen.
Oh, we are live. We are live.
There we go. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Feels like morning, man. I tell you what a day it has been. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again tonight. Okay, Donna,
Hello,
go to your
everybody from
go to your hang on, people. We're gonna teach Donna a little trick here. Senator Mercado Kim, thank you for joining us, Senator.
welcome.
So you're on my page, right?
I don't know if I'm on your page. Yes.
It's-
Of life.
it's-
Oh, that's
yeah,
your page.
that's the one.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so you see the share button?
Share button. No.
Go down. You're going to see Mel Raposo live
right
now.
underneath the video, right under the video, there should be a share button. And all of you that are watching, follow along. Right under the video, there's a little share button.
Under the video, I don't show video. I see Mel Raposa message, photos, friends, posts.
Keep on going down.
No
Go
more.
down a
Keep
little
going
bit.
down.
That's it. That's it. Can I go no more?
Okay, go all the way, scroll, sweep the screen all the way down so that the page refreshes.
Posts.
Keep on going down.
It's not.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we're helping Senator Mercado Kim through uncharted waters.
Do you see where it says Mel Raposo is live now?
No, it just says Mel Raposa. There you go. I can see on big picture of your face.
Okay, go down, scroll down, scroll down.
No, I don't know if I'm on your page. I'm on.
It should say, it should love, life, live, aloha.
Yeah, and they got his picture in the middle like that.
Yeah. Okay, if you go,
Okay.
keep on going down.
But no more.
Scroll
I only
down.
got photos, friends, post.
Keep going down.
No more. Can I go?
Throw your iPad away. So you don't see the video.
I don't see the video.
See, this is why we come on early. This is why we come on early so we can work
Can
out
I
the
go?
bugs.
Okay, let me go Facebook Live. Watch Facebook. No, can I do that?
Okay, you know on the okay okay, hold on here.
As we
Is that what
figure
it
this
looks
out,
like?
ladies and
Is that what
gentlemen,
it looks like?
Yes.
Okay, when you scroll, look at the beautiful technology.
Don't go all the way down. Mine only goes to post.
Really?
It only has 3 lines in post. And on the side, I have something else. On the side, I have.
Oh, you're on your iPad, yeah? Should be the same thing though.
you know what
don't
you
have
do?
all
You got
of
your iPad upright or landscape? You have
Both
it.
ways. Both ways. I tried it.
What is up? You sure that's what it looks like?
Yeah.
And if you scroll up like this, there's nothing.
No more. I'll show you. Look. Can you see it? Well, what happened to it? I don't know what happened.
Thank you guys all for joining us, by the way. Oh gosh.
Okay, I don't know what happened now. I've got to go back. Facebook. Okay, see? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go, can I go no more?
Hi, how come?
I sus.
Try go out of that page and come back in and see if the thing will refresh that way. So close that page down and come back in.
Okay. Search Facebook, right? Now Raposa.
Yeah.
Same thing. That's okay. Aloha, Kauai.
Well, you know, the last time you were on, Donna, Senator Kim, we had a good feedback, and you know, we got, in fact, right now, just with you alone, we're up to 136 on views just right now. Right now.
138, 138.
138, 142. 142.
144. See, you're that popular, Senator. You're that popular.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know how many of them actually watched Senator.
149.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get officially started, obviously want to thank everybody for joining us again. We do this every night, myself and Charlie Iona. Tonight we have some special guests. We have Senator Mercado Kim, Donna Mercado Kim. We have Senator Donovan Dela Cruz and Senator Cruz Fevella will be on shortly. This dynamic trio has been speaking for us over the last few weeks. And last week, as soon as I watched the Senate committee, and I don't mean to laugh because it's not even funny, but as soon as I saw the back and forth, I said, we need to get you guys on. So I called Donovan and asked him. He was nice enough to connect all of us together. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before that, we're doing this promotion right now. You see Charlie's shirt and my shirt?
Mel and Charlie show, flatten the curve. Got it.
Okay. So Kirk Correa, he owns a t-shirt shop here on Kauai. He does a lot of shirts. And he donated these shirts. All of the shirts, all of the printing, why they want to buy it. I was thinking we ain't gonna sell the shirts, but the orders are coming in.
Wow.
We're selling these things for $10. And the $10, Kurt is not taking a penny. Obviously, Charlie and I aren't taking a penny. The entire $10, we're gonna put it all together and give it to the Hawaii Community Foundation so they can use to help the families of Kauai. So if anybody wants one of these, just shoot me an email or private message on Facebook, and we'll collect your $10, PayPal or Venmo. I think I'm gonna put up a website so you can do it right online. But all the monies will go to Hawaii Community Foundation. They don't even know it yet, but we'll go there with the check and give it to them. And just something Kirk wanted to do for the community. Thank you. Kirk is on right now, so thank you. Thank you very much. See, they're asking, where can I buy the shirt? You message me or email on my private messenger with your size, and then I'll reply with the link to either PayPal or Venmo. That's how we're doing it right now. And then again, all proceeds, not a portion of the proceeds, all proceeds will go to Hawaii Community Foundation.
Also, we are the print, if the sizes go from small all the way up to, I believe, 3X. Anything beyond that, it's gonna say flattened, and that's it. You can't fit any more words if you're much bigger than that, okay?
You know, they need one of those buttons, you know, where you press it and the music comes out so they can listen to you guys flattening the curve.
Oh my Lord, you know, that has become the big hit. You know, people, they
You
hang
know,
on.
when they open the card, right? They get the music playing, the shirt, they have the little button, you press it and then the music comes
I
out.
tell you, you know, that started off as just a really sick joke, and it just became the ritual now. And people, it's funny how many people hang on just to
Hey,
watch that.
Donovan's on.
Hey,
Donovan.
Donovan.
How's it?
Thank Donovan, Senator Donovan Dela Cruz. Thank you again. Welcome back, both of you. Welcome back, and agreeing to come back on. We kind of shared of how this evolved, but thank you, Donovan, for making the connections for me so we can get everybody on.
Yeah, no.
We'll wait a little bit. We'll talk story a little bit about once Kurt gets on. I'm assuming Kurt knows how to.
Let me check.
Oh, where did he go?
I'm just gonna check real fast.
Oh yeah.
I want to
He's
know
gonna
if
be
these
coming in
legislators
from,
are going
Eva
to take pay
Beach.
cuts too. They work part-time and get paid a lot. That's one of the comments. If the pay cuts are implemented, and you know, we can talk a little bit about that. Of course, everybody's going to get the pay cuts, all of the state, but that's a whole nother discussion that we'll share in a little bit. The last I heard, the governor was backpedaling a little bit about, wait a minute, I mean, that wasn't really, we're just thinking about it, but you know, we all know. And like I said, we'll talk about that.
You know,
We'll
when you think out loud like that, people really, really upset, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be ready to go with everything, or you shouldn't talk out loud like that.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about transparency. I think we'll talk about tonight transparency and or the lack thereof. But just about, you know, I don't know if you guys were able to watch last night's meeting last night's discussion with Minnie Ko from South Korea. If
No,
you
I
haven't,
wasn't.
please watch it. I think I sent all of you the links today. It was late.
Yeah.
But you get a chance, watch that. She was so articulate. She went from A to Z, how it started, the dangers of not getting getting control of this right away, how one patient number 31, exposed about 100 people. She was dynamic, and hopefully we can connect you guys with her But if you watch that, you know, it's an hour, but it's very entertaining because she knows what she's talking about. She has access to the situation room in their government, so she knows. She's out in the trenches, on the ground, and it just was incredible. It was a great. Why is my? Oh no, hang on. Charlie, take over. I just noticed Mini Koi is on my watch
Yes.
party. So I'd watch party the wrong video.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I have my Facebook. It says Mel Raposo active now, but I keep trying to hit him and it doesn't do anything. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, what we'll do, Donna, when we're done, we put this on YouTube. I'll send you the link. You can post a link on your Facebook page, and then everybody can watch it.
Well, you know, today was doing a little math, and this just taking into consideration just what New York is faced with. But if they were to take all the individuals who passed away from this virus, just from what they got right now, based on the cubic feet, they would need about 44 football fields.
wow.
I mean, if you look at numbers that are as staggering as that's reality. So it's heartbreaking. But I think, you know, for those who still think that this virus is a flu, I mean, that, you know, we're trying to message this thing right. I told Mel today that, you know, maybe we got to come in from a different angle because, you know, with this protest that's going on now, it's kind of angering everyone who is complying, you know, with staying at home, and to have individuals outside. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, one way or the other, you know, if you want to do that, and then there's a lot of people that just angered over this time, they're doing it at this time. Maybe they, you know, if they could wait till we get back on our feet, but you know, it's one of those things. So I was just playing with these numbers, and it's just staggering just to think that's how many football fields we would need to, if we were to put them side by side, 6 feet deep. You would need 44 football fields to handle all 10,000 deceased, and that is the kind of numbers you don't like to think about, but that's the harsh, cold reality. Yep.
And you know, I think it's we talk about this every night, is that, you know, our numbers seem to be really good. You know, we did have a death today, and you know, obviously condolences go out to the family. But it's you know, I just don't think we've even started to climb the curve. Yeah, we're maintaining this number because we pretty much control the testing, but tomorrow we'll have Dr. Miskovich on, and he'll talk about the importance of testing and how readily available it is. We don't have it here in Kauai. We have not invited him over. I'm hoping that our mayor will invite him over soon so we can have some drive-through clinics here. But we'll talk to him tomorrow night. That should be a good show. One more thing real quick. Any of you that signed up, my son was on the other night. He's a personal trainer, and he offered free beginner fitness classes for anybody online. Oh, okay. I'll send you he's doing it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at
I haven't been exercising.
It's beginners. So we promoted it out. He's got a bunch of people already registered for tomorrow, no charge, and it's going to be fun. But a lot of the emails that when you signed up on the website, a lot of the emails went to the spam folder. So anyone that, because we're using an autoresponder, anyone that signed up and didn't get an email, check your spam folders. We'll be sending out another email tonight with the registration link. So, and I'll go ahead and post this in. I'll go ahead and post this in tonight for all of you. But for those of you that did not get an email, check your spam folder, and it should be there. All
Okay,
right.
I want you to know that I got on Facebook Live, so I got it.
Okay. Do you see the share button? Do you see the share button?
I did. I hit the share button.
Did you hit share and then hit start a watch party?
No, I didn't put start. I just hit start right now. Start watch party. Okay, I got it.
Bingo. Hit that.
Got it.
Okay, now this is what's going to happen, Donna. Go outside, check your garage door, see if that thing went up and down by itself.
Okay.
Okay.
I tell you what, I expect with you sharing yours and I'm
Okay.
sharing and Charlie's sharing and Donovan's going to be there. He's going to go share. You see, now he's going to share it.
I gotta
By
figure
tomorrow
out
we'll
how to-
have. I'm serious. Tomorrow we'll have 3, 4, 5,000 views. So tonight is critical. So all of you watching right now, hit the share button, hit the start a watch party button, and let's make this go viral because we'll be talking about a lot of things. I know we have an hour scheduled. We're running a little bit late because of I don't know where Kurt is, and we'll just wait.
No,
I mean, we'll just start.
Hey, Mel, Kurt, Senator Fevella has been on Zoom before, right? He has, right?
I don't know.
Okay, because somebody got to tell him we're not on channel 9 or channel 2 right now.
Okay, can I say something? I just want to say
Absolutely.
that I have been avoiding doing anything Facebook Live or the media has called and I've not want to go on because it's difficult when you don't have anything good to say or nice to say. So kind of not.
Well,
So I've only done your show. So
well,
Hey, thank you.
I'm flattered and I'm honored. And we're not here, like we said, we're not here to bash. But we're here to be truthful. We're here to let the people know we started this thing. Like I said, I started this last October of 18. This is gonna go on my second year right now. The whole purpose of this was to inform and educate. Yeah, unfortunately, we talk about the good things, but when we are in this crisis and there's rumors and garbage floating all over social media,
There he is.
we felt, all right. We felt that we bring the people on, so it's not third party, it's not hearsay. Okay, here we go. Let's all give him a round of applause when he comes in this room here. Everybody, Senator Fevella. There he is. Look at that. Aloha, Senator Fevella. Can you hear us?
I can't see him.
There he goes.
Senator Fevella, can you hear us?
There he is.
Hello.
Hey!
Can you hear us, Senator? Press your mic button. Unmute. You gotta unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Unmute yourself. Okay. I'm not. He has to unmute because I can you hear? Raise your hand if you can hear me.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
let me try text him. Okay, wait.
Hang on, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Want to excuse us, we get challenged with this high tech.
Okay,
there
he's
he
on
is.
now.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's
there
on
he
now. He's on now.
Okay.
No, he's not. We cannot hear you, Senator.
Maybe you gotta draw a picture. You gotta hold up a sign.
I did, right here. Hey, I read his lips.
Unmute.
Press unmute button.
It says unmute.
Oh,
There we go.
there you
There we go. Hooray.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, all right. Hey, welcome to the
Hey,
22nd century.
Senator, real quick before we get started,
Yes.
I bet at the Senate committee meeting last week, I'm sure some of them wanted one mute button. All right. Well, again, we're a little bit late. Thank you guys for joining us. We got Senator Donna Mercado Kim, Senator Dela Cruz, Senator Kurt Fevella, thank you for joining us. First time for Kurt on Charlie and Mel show. Donna and Donovan have they're returning guests, so we appreciate you guys' time. Basically tonight, we kind of wanted to cover a few topics. I watched your Senate committee meeting last week. Quite frustrating for all of you, and we thank you all for speaking up for us, for the people of Hawaii. You all got your own districts, but we appreciate you guys speaking up for all of us. So tonight, I'm just going to turn it over to you guys. Want to cover the transparency in government. Why is it such a difficult thing for not just the legislators, but for the public to get information? And we talked about Minico's discussion we had last night. We're in South Korea. It's completely transparent. We'll talk about that. And also, not sure if you guys have heard, but starting May 1st, for Kauai, I know, direct flights resuming to Lihue Airport, which is very, very disturbing. I messaged our mayor's office. They weren't aware of it. I messaged Lieutenant Governor Josh Green. He wasn't aware of it. But Alaska's flying. They've all stopped except for Delta, who comes in 4 times a week from the mainland. Alaska will be coming into Lihue with 2 flights per day from Seattle, and Delta so far 1 a day from LAX. So anyway, I'm going to turn over to you guys. Let's start with the transparency. Let's start with last week's committee meeting, and whoever wants to start, you know, Senator Dela Cruz, that was your committee.
Yes, Chair Dela Cruz, you can start.
Well, you know, I just got to say that I want to thank the members. These are long meetings. You know, they could shelter in place, but because they're so committed to making sure that the public gets the information they need, and that the departments are held accountable in being proactive, the members show up. I mean, they're enthusiastic. It's exhausting. There are times where we're just dumbfounded. We're flabbergasted that we cannot actually believe or comprehend what's going on. But the members don't give up, and we try to energize each other as much as we can. But this is a serious situation. There are a lot of people who have been unemployed for the first time, and it's scary. And so a lot of the things that we're doing, we're trying to make sure that we can provide public confidence and make sure that government service is provided in a timely manner so that it doesn't create more problems. But it's not easy getting the information from some of the departments. Some of the departments are not, you know, they're not thinking ahead. I know because of Donna Kim, you know, she was one of the first people that pushed the 14-day quarantine. She's been pushing the airports to put the processes in place, and, you know, slowly but surely, because of the members' tenacity, they're slowly getting there. I mean, we're finally getting verification before people leave the airport. They are who they are. They're going to stay where they're supposed to stay so that we can actually enforce the law. But that's not easy. And so, you know, I again, because of their tenacity, you know, we're able to get departments to put a lot of the proper procedures in place. One thing I do want to point out, you know, we've been trying to get DHERD, Department of Human Resources, to redeploy people, and we've been trying to get labor to accept people from different departments. So I'm happy to report, I got a call from the Senate President before this, that 25 staff and senators from the Senate are going to be working at the Convention Center and helping with unemployment. 50 House staff and House members are going to be helping, and 22 staff members from LRB are going to be helping. That's the Legislative Reference Bureau. So we got almost 100 people from the legislative branch that's willing to go and help with unemployment. And if you take the number of about 60 unemployment claims a day, that's a lot of people that we can try to help. That's at least 600 people a day that we can try to help because of that. We had tried to push this much sooner. You know, unfortunately, the Chief of Staff didn't give the approval for Department of Labor to take our people, but they're going to be starting tomorrow.
And that's the sad part, because people have been in anguish for the last few weeks, not being able to get into the system, not getting any kind of confirmation. And we had offered our people to go in. We've asked them to deploy people, and it hasn't happened. And so now they're doing it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we could have spared some of this anguish, mental anguish that's been going on.
Well, you know, the question I have for all of you senators is, it's disturbing, and I guess because it's televised, it gives the people the right to see how these committee meetings are conducted. But to have a chief of staff who is not the elected official that everyone elected, such as the governor, to be answering in the role of the governor, it's sort of heartbreaking, especially when there's a pushback. I mean, it almost seems like there's this authoritarian type of responses coming from her that, and I think Senator Fevella said it, that I don't think he would answer that way. It made the administration look kind of bad. Is that how all of you feel right now?
Yeah.
Senator Fevella, I would like Senator Fevella, because he made it a very clear point about being elected versus being appointed, and who gets the cracks. It's the elected officials. So Senator Fevella, please.
bottom line is for this, that I brought it up in the frustration of all the many times of our chief of staff, even after she apologized and said she was never going to do it again, to have it continue to be done. My constituents and people from the state of Hawaii have been asking and telling me the same thing. And why she keep on doing this? So I asked her point blank, did the governor gives you that authority? And she didn't answer a yes or no. She went around the question. And that's the reason why I asked her, is that she's appointed and not even be confirmed by the Senate. So we don't really have anything to do with her in that aspect. But the bottom line, and what makes me upset, is that we're elected. We're elected by our constituents and the state of Hawaii to represent them. And how can we do our job to the best of our ability if we're having roadblocks? I mean, I learned so much from this committee. And I feel such a blessing to be part of this committee will help our people of the state of Hawaii. But she doesn't get it. They don't get it. We're trying to express our feelings that we want to do for our community, especially with the unemployment. I mean, we get thousands and thousands of emails and calls all day about the unemployment. And we had offered over 3+ weeks ago to have this done. And then she said no because of the capabilities of our staff. And now we're going back to exactly what we had offered over 3 weeks ago. That makes us more frustrated. It was very draining. That was one of the most draining meetings that I ever been to since I've been elected. So I'm not understanding if she really sees the role of it all, because most of the time she's not in a room with us. She's on the phone. So we don't really know by face gestures, hand gestures, or just any kind of gesture, because she just comes silent and don't answer the question. That's the frustration for us, because we want to deliver the best we can. That's the reason why we go in all the time to do the best we can for the state of Hawaii and our constituents.
And that, that is why whenever I'm able to, as soon as I get the email from the Star Advertiser, I believe it's a Star Advertiser saying, oh, Senate committee meeting live now, or House committee, I'll put it on my Facebook and share it so that as many people can watch, because I think it's important that they understand how hard you guys are working. Now, wasn't it 2 or 3 weeks ago that the administration, I believe it was the chief of staff, said that they didn't need any help, any additional help from other departments? I believe that's what I heard.
Yeah, she rejected our offer to help, to send staff over to help, understand why. And the other thing is they don't want to come to the meeting, want to do it over the phone. They don't want to come, even though her office is right upstairs, a couple floors, they don't want to come down. We've been told by departments that she told them not to come to our meeting. And so this is really troubling, and they don't appreciate our meetings because they don't want to be put on the spot, I guess.
There were 2 highlights that I think really struck me. And I've been in that position in the county government where we've had representatives. I've been on a council through several mayors, and where you have a department head who is just not cooperating, and it's frustrating. But 2 things stuck out. Number one was obviously the dialogue between Senator Fevella and the chief of staff. That one regarding what went down. And then Senator Dela Cruz's discussion, which came up to a question about a subpoena, that maybe you guys should get a subpoena. I heard her say that you maybe should get a subpoena for this information. Now that I thought was striking.
Yeah, as you probably heard that, you know, a lot of us were caught off guard with the 20% furloughs across the board. And we really believe that there's some fat in government that we can cut first, some restructuring that we can do, some special funds that we can move money around. We think that there's a whole bunch of things we can do first before we start to implement the furloughs. That doesn't mean that it isn't inevitable. You know, depending on this situation, we may have to do it at some point. But we have to be responsible. And in order for us to actually try to help make those decisions, we need the information.
So before you make a statement like that get people devastated, we want to make sure we've done our homework. Yeah. We've looked at everything, and even looking at a sliding scale, because to get a 20% across the board for people that are making, you know, under $50,000 or even under $80,000, to get 20%, you know, so it should be a sliding scale, and starting off with 5%, going all the way up to 25 or 30%, depending on how much you're making. I think that's much fairer across the board, but those discussions couldn't take place because the governor didn't even bring it up with us, didn't even mention it to us. So that's the frustrating part. And when people take what we say out of context because they don't watch the whole meeting, they don't get a real true picture. So I really encourage people to watch it, because then you can really see why we're so frustrated, because of all the answers that were given to us prior to when they, you know, take us out of context.
Yeah, because the 20% cut that evening when he made that announcement, that was one of the few times that she came before us. She was just sitting right in front of us before that meeting took place, that he would go and talk about the 20%. She could have said, hey, senators, the governor is probably going to be saying this and this. You know, what you guys feel about it? Do you want me to take something back to the governor about this 20% cut? She didn't say nothing to us. That evening, they went on the news and they made this press release. Next morning, we get bombarded by every single teacher, every state worker, everybody that we know. How is the legislation standing by this 20% cut? And I told them, we don't even know nothing about it, because never was told to us by the chief of staff or the governor in any of the briefings and the meetings that we had. That was the one that was really frustrating for us.
She could have asked us to go offline after the meeting. She could have said, you know, I have some information. We don't want to say anything yet. And then at least give us a heads up. But she didn't even do that. Nobody.
So where does it stand now? It sounded like after the governor got a letter from, obviously, the labor unions, but the letter that I thought was probably the most impacting was a letter from the Senate and the letter from the House, basically saying, both sides said, we cannot support this. We didn't see this coming. So not long after that, the backpedal started. Where is it now? Is it still in that limbo? We're still considering it. Does anyone know?
They haven't even contacted us. I don't know, Donovan, have anybody contacted you? Because certainly they haven't even contacted us or said anything to us like, oh, you know, excuse, or we're going to put it off, or, you know, we want to meet with you guys. Nothing that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a clear indication as where they want to move from here. And that's what I think is a little troubling. By us not getting the information we need, we can't help so that we can avoid the across the board cut. We need the information so that we can help go through it. We can help make decisions. We can get input so that we can start cutting and finding special funds or repeal tax credits. There's all kinds of things we can do, you know, to try to fill the puka. But if they're not, oh, go ahead.
No, that's the reports that Chair Donovan asked the departments to provide. And those are the reports that the chief of staff said that they got to send it to her so they can filter it first. And so that's, you know, we weren't happy about that, because time is of the essence. And the sooner we get the reports from the department and recommendations, the sooner we can, you know what it is we have to do. But she doesn't want it to come to us directly.
That's the reason why, you know, that's the reason why it was frustrating, because Senator Dela Cruz is the WAM chair, and she was telling him she's going to look it through and then she's going to give it to him. I mean, he's like, he's not educated enough to filter it out and figure it out himself. And we need her, again, an appointed position, not an elected position, to make that kind of calls for for the Senate and especially the chair for the WAN, that was just ludicrous. That's the reason why it made us all upset. That to thinking that she is going to do all of this, and she always used the word we. We don't know who is we because it's her. So we need to learn that she need to use the word I and not we, because there's no we in her. So I don't understand.
Well, let me ask you, at this point, it seems pretty evident that we're at a Mexican standoff, right? We're at an impasse. What happens now, Donovan? What happens since?
Well, the Senate we still have some options. What we can do, if the deadline for the departments to respond is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if we don't get any kind of response by tomorrow, because the fact that the committee is active during the recess,
Mm-hmm.
we can have the departments present their cuts one by one, and that's what it's probably going to take. There's 18, 19 departments, and then they can come in front, and we can ask the directors to go over what they think. I mean, it's going to be a long, tedious process, but I know the committee is up for it. But they're not giving us too many options.
Okay.
Well,
So
we know,
when we talk, I'm sorry, Mel. When we talk about this 19 different departments, I'm pretty sure that as you go along with the numbers, and if any of the department heads have a hiccup, that's when time is going to be spent trying to get the information out. And if and if it's anything like you folks went through with the chief of staff, because they're being directed maybe not to show up in front of you folks, then what other options do you have after that? Should the corporation not be so cooperative? I'm worried about that. Well, what options are left with you folks at that point?
Well, that's where we had some conversation with the Attorney General, because there are 3 specific statutes that allow the legislature to get information. There's, I think it's 21.21-8 that allows us to ask for information. There's 21F-8 that allows LRB to ask for information, and there's also a subpoena section, so that the Senate President and the Speaker or a committee could actually subpoena information. But that's probably going to take a little bit longer versus having the committee have each director come in front and report.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But at the end of the day, the governor has the unilateral authority to do cuts across the board. He doesn't need the legislature to agree with him. That's a scary part. That's what.
But then the legislature
with the furlough Fridays. Remember when Lingo did the furlough Fridays? I was in support of that, and she decided to do furlough Fridays.
But at the end of the day, the legislature controls the purse strings, right? And I mean, there are some projects that the governor really enjoys and really wants.
Yeah.
And,
but the trouble is we're not in session.
Yeah.
We're in recess, so we don't have. The budget still hasn't been passed. I mean, hopefully we can get back to work at some point. And we also asked the AG if we can work remotely, if we can still get people to come in instead of coming into the Capitol, especially our neighbor island guys. At least they could be able to call in and they can get their vote. She's researching that still, because we have to look at different options before we can resume on how we're going to conduct business.
So is April 30th D-Day?
Well, it was undetermined as far as when we're going to come back. I mean, that's the number that's the date that the governor used for some of the agency services and for the stay at home. But the Senate President and the Speaker haven't indicated. I think they're trying to make sure that it's going to be safe before they resume session.
Okay.
All right. What do you guys think? I know for me, again, the layperson sitting home, watching all the hearings, listening to the press conferences, it appears that understanding that the president gave some guidelines for states, he's giving the authority to the governors, but am I wrong to assume that that the governor is looking to open up tourism, the visitor industry? sooner than later. That's the impression I get. I mean, and now with the new flights coming in, people are checking flights now as they're hearing this. And right now, $580 round trip from New York right to Lihui.
Who authorized those flights? Do you know? The
No,
airline?
that's the question. Yeah, the airlines. Apparently, like I said, Lieutenant Governor didn't know about it. Our mayor's office didn't know about it. Doesn't sound like you guys know about it. I'm assuming that when that April 30th deadline was set early on, the airlines decided, well, let's just prep for May 1st. This is the scary part. One of the Delta flights coming in from LA on, I can't remember what day, it was the first or the second or the third. One of my friends that work at Delta said that the main cabin is sold out.
They have to practice
That's
social
too Lihui.
distancing.
That's too Lihui. Well, they got to practice quarantine, but
Well,
we know that
social distancing, they cannot sit next to each other in the middle row.
international airspace, I don't think it covers. I don't know who, I'm not trying to be funny, but
Crazy.
who the hell is allowing these guys to come in? We don't have the infrastructure in place. We don't have the facilities in place. We do have hotels that are open, that are still open, but I have not heard a peep from the governor, from the DOT, or anyone, if not for a tip that I got from an employee, and now I've gotten a second tip from an employee. Yesterday, I went online, I went on all the airlines. I've tried to book a flight in April, the ending of April, no flights to Lihui, except for Delta. They come here 4 nights a week, but they're coming off with just the crew or possibly 2 or 3 passengers. That's it. It's very light.
No,
I go from May 1st, Alaska got 2 flights coming in from Seattle, from Washington State, hot zone. And of course, now I'm seeing, I think since yesterday, now we're seeing the direct flights even coming from JFK, which scares me.
Yeah. But no, you think about it. If you was watching the meeting on Friday, you heard it from the tourism mouth. It's not the time to come to Hawaii. He said it right from his own mouth. They're closing hotels. They're keeping the hotels. Most of them is closed, except some of the ones that they're trying to accommodate for our first responders and stuff like that. But he's letting them know, and he said that we need to contact the CEOs from all the airlines. So that's what we told the governor's chief of staff. They need to let the CEOs. We're not ready to open up tourism. He said himself, they're not advertising anything on their part on the tourism to be bringing people in from the mainland, especially Washington, where they had the coronavirus. I mean, that is ridiculous that they're going to be bringing people back and opening it up and not even letting the whole community and the legislators and everybody know. That's very irresponsible. We're not there yet.
Very, very irresponsible.
Well, last night, just to kind of bring our viewers up to date on the guests that we had last night, Minnie Cole, she was a former director of economic development for the city and county of Honolulu. And she has this business where she's marketing as well as she's a liaison with the Korean government now. And she has access to their situation room where we asked, how do they do it in South Korea? And one of her statements were, and she's very passionate about Hawaii because she flies back and forth. And she said, in order for us to really getting the tourists back, you're going to have to do the following. And that is, Korea has a dedicated strike team standing by. If results come in at 2 a.m, they will go to the hotel. If you test positive, they will go to the hotel, wake you up, and they will grab you and take you to a government-run quarantine because Korea, transparent as they may be, will not allow you to move around to contaminate more people. That's how they control it. So because of that, I told Mel last night, you open up the floodgates for the tourists, and should this happen, the DOH is having a hard time contact tracing now. What makes you think they're going to have an easier time when they come in with the numbers that can be even greater? So that's the thing that I'm trying to get my head, and I think a lot of people out there, we're trying to wrap our head around that idea of allowing tourists. We love the tourists, don't get me wrong. But now's not the time until such time we can bring everything under control. And I think that's why it would be beneficial, for our government to kind of take a look, see at that model, because that model, I mean, they curbed it in no time. They see this resurgence happening, but they were able to curb it, and they have these strike teams. In fact, they even have this disinfection team. So Mel asked, did Korea close down when it happened? And she said, no. If you get a report, say for instance, the Capitol gets a report, one infected person, the Capitol is closed down for 1 day, they disinfect the whole place, they do their contact tracing, and they open the building back up. We're not even set up to do that, should that happen in one of the hotels. So, she said all of these things have to be in place in order for you to bring all the tourism back. It has to. That's the only way.
No, we cannot go back to the same old coming in. We can barely handle 100 passengers a day coming in, and we're going to go 30,000. That's impossible.
Yep.
The other thing is troubling. I don't know if you folks saw the news, but the two individuals, husband and wife, who was tested positive, they were in quarantine for 14 days and they were interviewed, and they said that they weren't tested. The wife said they told her after 4 days, after your 14 days, you have no symptoms, then you're okay, you can go out. But her husband still was having symptoms. And so she what about going out? Because she felt that, she could have been reinfected. So finally, when he was done 4 days after, they didn't come to test, but the CDC says they need to have 2 tests, one right after, and then again, another day or 2 after that, to make sure that they in fact are not positive anymore and free to go out. So we're not even testing the people that have been on quarantine that have tested positive.
Well, right now, Korea has that after you pass the quarantine period, they get 2 follow-up tests, even if you're asymptomatic, because they found out that a lot of people are asymptomatic. Right. But they also found out that this resurgence, these 160-something individuals who had the virus and it came back, they were not reinfected. That the virus was in them in just a small amount that it couldn't be traced the first go around. So that's why they're trying to really go aggressively on that.
Well, that's why I asked the question to Department of Health. How many people have been retested? They didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't think there were any.
Right. Okay. Well, Mel,
just to show you guys, this is what I got yesterday in the mail. I mean, in my email, April 18th. Don't forget to book your trip, Oakland to Kauai. Grab your low fare now.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That went to every single Southwest customer. That was just right here, April 18th, yesterday. And that is when I knew that we are in trouble. We on Kauai. I didn't check Honolulu. You guys got more flights, I'm assuming, but for Kauai, we've had Delta. Hawaiian still flies, but United, American, Alaska, all canceled their flights to Lihue completely, and Delta is only remaining now. I'm even seeing from comments that United is now opening up, coming from New York. So I guess my question to you folks would be, New York.
Coming from New York? Oh.
$580 round trip to Lihue.
I don't think they fly into Lihue. I think they go to Honolulu first. Yeah. Honolulu first.
No, what I'm saying is the flight, it's a Kauai flight. In other words, they're going to get off in Honolulu, get on a connecting flight, come to Lihue. So Alaska is a direct, Delta is a direct, United will be connecting out of Honolulu. But those passengers that have booked that flight are coming to Lihue. They're just the last leg will be a Hawaiian Airlines leg, which means they're not going to get quarantined on Oahu. They're gonna come here, and they're gonna and get no testing. Yeah, they're gonna go get a damn freaking quarantine paper. Say, hey, you gotta stay in your room for 14 days. That doesn't work. That doesn't work unless we put them in a facility like South Korea.
To tell you the truth, the only way this kind of stuff is gonna work is that we gotta use our military bases and not our beautiful hotels and beaches, and we just put them there so that they feel uncomfortable and they stop coming. But until then, We're going to quarantine in the beautiful scenery, a beautiful room service, everything like that. And then they can sneak to the beach, take their chance, and go home after 3 days.
Senator Fevella, you live in New York. You get your wife and 3 kids. 700, 800 people dying a day in New York. You can bring your family $500 round trip apiece to come to Kauai. Yes, there's a 14-day quarantine, but you can stay in your hotel room with the beautiful view. You're gonna have some family time. Probably get a nice bigger unit. What would you do? You stay in New York and watch people drop like flies, or come here? They're coming here.
You're coming
and
here.
that's what's pissing me off.
Yes, that's
Well,
wrong.
there's last night too, just so you folks know, we talk about this app. And how it was explained is it's on the phones now. So whenever someone tests positive, the same way like when we had the missile alert, everybody, your phones start buzzing, right? They have the same thing. And we talked about HIPAA when they said, oh, we cannot give the information out because HIPAA. What they do is they don't give your name out. They give your sex, your age, where you live, and they blast them on government TV. So everybody know to stay away from that area. Or if you've been in that area and you don't need a reason to go get tested, as long as you was in the area. And so we talked about the pricing. How much is the pricing for the test, right? We've had answers between $100 to $200 per test. Korea, $25. So that's why people get frustrated to think, why aren't we not doing enough testing when they get these kind of prices? What makes us so different? What makes us so different?
The other thing they broadcast out. So what Charlie was talking about, our little alert system that we have, that everybody's cell phone in the state vibrates like it's never vibrated before. And you get the text message that says tsunami or hurricane or tornado, whatever the heck it may be. But on theirs one, they let you know that we just received a positive test. Check our social media or check our website. On the website and all the social media from the government has the only thing they don't have is the person's name. They also have where the person works. So if the guy works at McDonald's in Kona, if I was at McDonald's in Kona, I better go get tested. Yeah. That's how they do it in Korea. And over here, I watched that press conference. The reporter asked twice when we had the Big Island cluster. He didn't want to tell where it was. Bruce Anderson did not. It was only after bugging by the reporter, then he finally said, well, you can figure it out. There's 2 McDonald's that closed in Kona. Why not just tell us when you know?
Hey, Mel, I can think the only time would be a problem if we do that notification, the app. If it's the same person who did the missile one that he impressed him by mistake, now he works for this department, then go press him by mistake again. That's the only time I think this thing will get jammed out.
He went there again. I'm genuinely afraid of this thing. I don't think, I think it's, and I hate thinking like this, but I think it's worse than the numbers portray. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm worried, and I don't see any by the administration. I don't see any plans to change. It's the same thing. We're going to continue the same thing. This information that Minnie provided last night had been shared with Mayor Caldwell and with the state, not the legislature, but unfortunately, and I wish they had.
That's what I share with the community, my friends and my family. Anytime I talk to them, Hawaii will never be the same. We're still gonna have the big aloha and the love for one another, but we're not gonna be the same like how it was. We have to change things because we're so open and we're in the middle of nowhere. Our resources are limited, so we cannot have another pandemic like this on the multitude what we're having now, because it's gonna crush us. It's gonna crush Hawaii. And unless we can make some drastic changes and have great leadership and willing to make these kind of changes, then we're going to be in jeopardy, guys.
Oh.
Anybody else? Where do we go from here?
Well, the committee has been trying to urge the administration to use the mass texting. I mean, you know, we tried actually a couple of weeks ago to ask them to do that. And, you know, for the very same reasons you said, so we can alert people, people can take it more seriously. People can make sure that they weren't in a location, or maybe they were in a location that someone tested positive, at least they can go check. That's one thing we tried to push. We've also been asking the Department of Health, how many more people do you need so that you can do aggressive contact tracing? So Bruce Anderson mentioned that it's somewhere between 80 and 100 people. Senator Kim has trying to get the numbers of what would that cost, how can we get them to you. He met with us twice, so we're still waiting for the information. We're with you on a lot of those things. We're pushing as much as we can to get those things in place. It's just been difficult for us for some reason to get some of the departments to want to do them.
And for the people watching and listening, the fact is, you know, they're saying, why can't you guys do something about it? Well, first, we're not in session. Second of all, even if we were in session, we'd have to pass something, give it to the governor. He has to okay it. He has to sign on it. So we don't have the day-to-day authority to make any of these decisions. We have to push, we have to suggest, we have to urge, and, you know, it's like pulling teeth.
You know, just like what Senator Donovan and Donna just said. The frustration is that we hear you guys, we're there, everybody asking the same questions. We're here asking the hard questions in the committees. We're pushing everything we can, but then we get guys like that is the head of the departments, like the Department of Health, Anderson, that he doesn't believe in about wearing a mask and letting people know about the mask and not referring them to the governor to let people know about the mask. Yeah, maybe the mask is not going to prevent us from getting the disease, but it's going to help of the spreading of the disease. So, you know, instead of he gets up as a leader of the Department of Health and say, hey, I recommend all of you guys wear masks and be safe out there. Yeah, like we know that's going to, it's going to be preventing it from being spread. That's what we're trying to do. But when he comes to our meetings, he's the only one that does not have a mask. He doesn't come to the meeting. All the rest of the directors, all the rest of the departments that come, him. Everybody except him. He doesn't come. And unless we're gonna have leaderships like that.
Gotta unmute him.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know why. Uh-oh. Now he froze up.
Sorry, your phone coming in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
sorry about that.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, one more. You gotta unmute it one more time. There you go.
Okay, well, let me just say something also. The committee has been trying to urge the chief of staff to really relay to the governor that we want the letter that the 3 mayors signed to the president, urging that all non-EU travel to Hawaii be stopped. We've asked for the reasons, if they could articulate the reasons why that they don't want to send it. We're still waiting for that. So the other things that you're talking about in regards to the mass texting, the contact tracing, stopping all non-essential travel, you know, those things we keep trying to bring up, and we'll continue to bring them up until hopefully we get some kind of result.
We're not just criticizing, which it sounds like it, because when the media picks up, you know, certain things, we're making all these suggestions, and a lot of the things they finally implemented as a result of our committee and our suggestions. But, you know, it's like $1 late because they're dragging their feet. And then when they finally make the decision, they put it off 5 days later. They only do international flights, domestic flights, they don't do inter-island flights. And then, you know, 5 days later, they add it on. It doesn't make sense. We don't understand what the thinking is. We don't understand what the logic is. The airports are not making the decision. They're waiting to hear from what General Hara is going to tell them instead of being a leader and active. They're not doing those things.
You know, there's this one aspect that I didn't share what Minnie shared last night, and that is, if our state is to take this seriously, they have a team that's dedicated 24 hours a day. They're sequestered into one of their ballrooms, and that's all they do, because Korea, population-wise, is 6 times the size of Hawaii, the state of Hawaii. They can go to every part of every province in South Korea, and they know wherever that virus is at, because they have a team dedicated, because they don't want the thing to overrun the country. And I think it's at that point now where our state needs to be really serious about it, because right now they've been lucky, just been going by with social distancing. And like Senator Fevella said, you get 30,000 people come in. If we have a hard time handling it now, when it comes in, you're going to have to take more resources and more dedication to try to really curb this thing, because it's going to get to the point where even places like Lanai, if we're not careful, that's the most sterile. Ni'ihau is the most sterile. There's nothing on there. They can, and you know, the Robinsons are doing great in protecting the people of Ni'ihau. But then you get Lanai, that thing might get overrun too. So I hear you folks, and I think I'm speaking to the viewers, that it's just like an uphill battle for us to get to shake this governor and his administration to get off the Okola and say, hey, take this serious. Take this seriously.
Before we even allow the visitors back in, we have to slowly allow our businesses to get back on track. We have to, you know, get them there, get the employees back working. Maybe we have to employ social distancing like we do at the supermarkets and get some of the businesses. Because when the tourists come back, what business, they're not going to get to service, you know, eventually. So a lot of small businesses have gone out of business. They're banned because it's been devastating. So we have a lot on our hands before we can even allow plane loads of visitors to come back into our state.
Oh, well, they're coming. I mean, they're coming, and that's, you know, I was already kind of concerned.
So everybody should write to the governor. Everybody should call the governor. Everybody should send emails to the governor. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I agree. And like I said, we just uncovered this yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I uncovered this, confirmed it. Like I said, Lieutenant Governor knows. I'm hoping this broadcast and you know, there was over 400 people watching this thing live, that they'll be concerned, because you're right. We're not ready for the tourists. I thought we were going to do a gradual opening, about opening our small businesses, getting people back to work before we dump the tourists on. Where the hell are they going to go? Where the hell are they going to go? Now, I don't know if the governor knew. I got to believe he knows. You know, he's so close with the visitor industry, the hotel.
But they should know. That's the thing, Mel. He should know.
I agree. You know,
Right?
and I'm just very, very, very concerned selfishly for Kauai, because we cannot handle that right now. We simply cannot handle that right now. We see the quarantine violations. We see the people strolling around on the beaches. We see it happening. It's happening on every island. They're not going to listen. And, you know, it is what it is. But we have the ability, you know, the governor, when he made the decision that he wasn't going to sign that letter, when he made the decision that it was a waste of time to sign that letter and send to the president, he basically threw every single citizen of this state down the river. You all know this. You all get staff. You need a memo. You ask the staff to draft the memo. You read it. You like it. You sign it. It takes 10 minutes of your day to sign a letter, even though you know that the response may not be a positive response. You're still going to do it for your constituents. This guy came up on TV and said, they ask him why, because I think it's just a waste of time. It's like Bruce Anderson saying testing does nothing for the state. It's just a snapshot in time. What are these guys thinking? So frustration, but I did want to say before I turn it back to you guys have been going over and above, trying to speak out for us. I want to make that clear, because I don't want people thinking that you folks have that authority. You don't. The legislative body doesn't have that authority. I wish you did. I really wish you did, but you don't.
Yep.
So like you said, you can urge, push, criticize, yell, scream. Senator Fevella took off his mask even he was so upset. I watched it. I said, oh my God, somebody better go hold that bull back. But at the end of the day, the governor is the one that's got to make the decision. And that is simply not happening. So just from me to all of you individually and your committee,
Yes,
thank
thank
you
you.
guys. I know I speak for everybody on this call.
Hey, Mel, let me share one. I did it with Senator Mercado Kim, but, since Senator Fevella joined us, I took that, the New York death rate, right? And just, for those of you, again, that joined us late, on a New York death rate of 10,000 plus deaths due to COVID, if they were allowed to do a burial, that 10,000 caskets would fill up approximately 44 football fields if you was to line them side by side. And you just think of those numbers now. Now, I know we're comparing apples to oranges, but it's a staggering fact. Then if you were to look at Kauai, even though our numbers are low at 21, and just say it's on the west side, and say all of those 21 had to be hospitalized in an ICU. Kauai Veterans Memorial Hospital, we don't have 21 ICU beds, let alone 21 ventilators. So we would have to taxi another facility to run them short to take care of that 21. So I think people need to look at these numbers and how it relates to what we have presently right now. And I think the Lieutenant Governor was pushing that very, very heavily. Because it can become a stark reality if we're not careful. If we're not careful, it can become a stark reality. And like I've always said before, some said, no, we were prepared. No, you got caught flat-footed, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Okay, you got caught flat-footed right from the get-go. The sooner we can admit that, we can make the changes to adjust. But to me, and like all of the senators have expressed, this administration gets so much pride. They just don't like admit certain things. So they just try to do the hideaway plan. They play the hide and go seek game. So now you folks got to go over and beyond to try to get the answers. And as you do that, time slowly ticks by. And then everybody gets affected. You get workers now, you put out one notice, 20% cut. It's bad enough. We say we on stay-at-home order. Now everybody panicking. We're going to get 20% cut. Now you get on a house with 3 people. 2 work in the hotel industry. They're already unemployed. The last holdout is a state worker. Now you're going to get 20% cut. You basically killing one entire family. You wiping them off the face of the earth by doing that. And that's why these people got to understand. It's no longer a game anymore. It's the real deal. The real deal. Okay, Mel?
Anyone else? Senator Fevella?
Yeah, well, like I said, exactly what you guys are saying. It's not time to be prideful and boastful. It's for the people because people are dying. It's not time to worrying about party affiliation, Democrat, Republican. We all want people. And when we die and people die in America, it's not Democrat or Republican. It's somebody's family member. So that's what we got to realize. And this is what I was trying to stress with the governor and the governor's chief of staff. Like you said, regardless of the response, at least he would ask on a behalf of his people of Hawaii, whether the response is yes or no, go or nothing. At least he did it. At least he would try, and at least try for his people. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not about party lines. It's not about party lines, guys. And that's what we got to remember now. When people are dying, that's our family members, whether they're Republican or Democrat, independent, green, whatever. They're still flesh and blood. They're a family. We love them, and they're dying. This is serious. This is not a movie. This is not a science fiction movie that we can go fast forward to the heroes at the end. There's no heroes involved with people dying. So this is the reason why it's frustrating, and that's why every day when I go to the Capitol, it strives me to do better and better and try to do best for our people, because we got to stress to our governor and our leaders that our people is dying. This is real. This is not something that you can put on pause or mute. It's not going to go away anytime soon. So unless we take the bull by the horns and ride it into the sunset, it's not going to happen. We'll get more people dying, and it's just going to be devastating for us. We're on an island, and you guys remember the past flu, how much people died with the flu back in the days. You guys getting all the statistics. You guys know. You live on Kauai, the small islands. They can wipe them out in an instant. If they spread, you can wipe out the whole island. You can wipe out the state of Hawaii. It's not hard. But all we asking is not that we try to tell you what to do. Like I told the governor's chief of staff, we're not ordering Trump to help us. We're asking you to write a simple letter. Dear President Trump, can you please help the state of Hawaii? We're in a pandemic. Can you stop all unessential flights to Hawaii until we can get a hold of this? We'd really appreciate it. And can we have more funding, because we're in a tourist industry and we really need the funds for our unemployment and for the people of Hawaii. Can you help us with that, with our small businesses? Give us a little bit more money, because we're a unique situation because we depend on tourism. That's it. Simple. That's what he has to do. Don't let anything be being tried or anything. And I'm not asking for demand. She used the word demand. I'm not asking our governor to demand, or any of our leaders in the state of Hawaii to demand the president. I'm asking them to ask. And whether we get a yes or no, at least we'll try. At least we can go back at the end of the day and tell our constituents, our family members, hey, we tried. But unless we go and step up to the plate and swing that bat, we're not going to know if we strike out. That's it. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I stress to all the people of Hawaii to go to the governor and start flooding his emails and letting them know to please take this thing seriously and write that letter to the president. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for you having this on Facebook and having me on your show. Thank you.
You cannot leave yet, because we got to stay to the end, because we got one finale you will never believe. But I just wanted to comment seriously, Senator. You know, you hit the nail right on the head. You know, I know a lot of people even on the comments right now blaming the president. For what? Blame him for what? Is that going to do for us? You know, I'm not here to support or oppose the man. He's the president. He got his own stuff he got to deal with. We want him to do one thing. The governor got to ask. All the authority in our state right now doesn't lie with the president. It lies with our governor. The governor can stop the passengers from unloading off that plane. The governor can direct those people, if we take them off the plane, to an isolation facility. The governor can do a lot of things in this emergency declaration without the president's approval. He is not going down that route. So it's very easy to say, you know, hey, it's all the president's fault. You know, we lucky on Kauai. Mayor Kawakami took action early. Did he wait for the governor? No. Did he ask the governor? No. Governor, you do what you like. I'm going to take care of my island, and that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a curfew. He got ripped. He did a curfew. He did the stay at home. He did the quarantine. Governor never do that. He never come in and say, oh, I got to ask the governor. No, you work within the power that you have, and that is what he has not done. So, you know, Trump is Trump. Trump does what he does. The only thing that he can do, he gave the entire authority to open the state to the governors of every state. It's up to Ige. It's up to Ige. It's nobody else. And he needs to exercise the authority that he has in this state to protect the people. That's kind of where it lies. And that's what he hasn't been doing. Senator Kim.
Yes, I've been listening and reading what some of the people have been writing in their comments. And again, you know, I know that we get all the emails and folks are calling us, but again, we don't have that authority. And unless you folks really flood the governor in any way you can to let them know how you feel about stuff, because the sooner we get a handle on this, the sooner we can open up our parks, we can open up our beaches, we can open up businesses, we can do social distancing and get our economy back going. And so, you know, we got to do that. And it's very frustrating for us not being able to do anything about it. So again, I don't know what else to say, but I appreciate folks having this forum. You know, we try to be transparent. We have our hearings so that people can see exactly what's going on. We don't censor anything. And we want everybody to know exactly what's going on. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Senator. And thank you for agreeing to come back. Senator Dela Cruz.
Well, I think what Donna said is true. I mean, people can even hear us on the mics. I mean, we sometimes forget that they can hear us with our sidebar conversations and our frustrations. But I think the public probably appreciates the fact that we are frustrated and they can get to see to some extent what's going on behind the scenes. I want to thank General Hara, though. He did present last week a 4-colored tiered plan as to where he thinks we're at and what protocols need to occur. The trouble is we need the communications team to start to get that information out so that people can act accordingly. So whatever we got it, we hope there are some things in place that I think that some good things in place that I think we can act upon, but we need the communications team to start promoting some of these things. I think at the initially when this all came about, most people didn't know when you get tested, what do you have to do. A lot of this is communication. I mean, there's the fact that some departments are dragging their feet, and there's also the fact that some things are actually getting done, but nobody knows about it. And so I hope that the committee can help with that too. I want to thank, I think, HTA for working with the committee and getting the verification process. Now people have to be verified before they leave the airport, and so they heard the concerns of the committee. So those things like that actually help us feel like we've contributed to add the steps needed to protect our community. So I want to thank the committee, and I want to thank you guys for having this show and the opportunity for us to explain and present some of the work that we're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
And
you.
there'd be no show with no guests. People can only tolerate so much of me and Charlie. So without no guests, there's no show. I know last week when I was watching the presentation on how the HTA going to handle, I just knew something was coming up because no one ever mentioned about increase in flights. So now I understand why they did that presentation, because they were working on this. That wasn't something they did overnight. That plan that they presented was not something they did overnight. That was something they thought of and had to put together. And now I understand why it was all done before May 1st, because that's when, the
Actually, Ford said he worked the night before, all night, right, Donovan?
Well, I don't know how you could work the night before. I don't know how you'd be able to work the night before and have the commitments from all the different agencies involved. I think, he's Superman if he did that.
But not knowing anything about these upcoming flights, what our concern was, people were leaving the airport and their information wasn't even verified. So people couldn't, when people called, they weren't there. So that's where we were pushing some of that. And it ended up being on the news that woman had put a PO box, and it just reiterated our concern. So because of that, they tried to fix that.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for pushing that. Thank you guys for pushing them to tighten up the control, because, like I said, on Kauai, they throw a roadblock outside. Everybody goes through the checkpoint. Everybody leaving that airport goes through the checkpoint. And but now it's going to be more difficult when you have that additional flight, simply because of resources. So it's going to be tough. But anyway, before we go off, I don't know if you guys saw this, Donovan, the last time. How's this, Fevella? Pretty cool, huh?
Wow.
Kirk Correa did these shirts, donated the shirts. We're selling them for $10. All $10 going to Hawaii Community Foundation for their charity to support the people. So if anyone wants a copy of this shirt, just private message me your size. I'll let you guys know how you can pay, and we'll get this shirt out to you ASAP. It's a great commemorative. Look at Charlie. Look at that. It's so nice.
Hey, Mel, you need to tell them too. We did set a goal. We did set a goal of $5,000, and we want to let you folks know that due to the rapid response, and we're so grateful, we're almost there at our goal.
We are
of $5,000. We're just $5,000 short right now, so we're almost at our goal.
I tell you, man.
Okay, well, we're waiting to hear how you flatten the curve.
Yes, we are going to do that. Charlie, where the heck is any closing comments, Charles? Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you guys for hanging on, and thank you, senators. I know you guys are busy people. Tomorrow night, we have Dr. Scott Miskovich. He will be talking to us about testing. We're trying to get him to Kauai, trying to get our county to extend the invitation so he can come over and do some widespread testing. Aside from that, Charles, see, Senator Fevella, I think you're the only one that's never seen this yet. But every night, we've been doing this for a month, I guess, 3 weeks, and we're trying to get people to flatten the curve here on Kauai. We're forcing people to flatten the curve. We tell them if you don't flatten the curve, you come out and arrest you. You're gonna have to stay with me and Charlie for 24 hours. That never worked. So we finally came up with the ultimate solution, and we said, hey, you guys cannot flatten the curve, then we will flatten your ears. So here we
We
go,
learned
Charles.
this right now. We learned this from Eva Beach.
Right from
Just
Eva
off of
Beach.
Eva
Straight
Beach.
from Eva Beach.
Here we
Ready,
go.
Charlie? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, here we go. Aloha,
That's
everybody.
how
Take
we
care.
flatten
Good
your ears
night.
if you don't flatten the curve. Thank you guys, everybody. See you
Thank you.
tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Dr.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Senators,
Take
really,
care.
from us to you, we love you guys. God bless. Keep fighting for us. We appreciate it. Take care. Aloha, everybody. Good night.
Yes,
Good
aloha.
night.
Right.